Inicial, quando tiver vermelho aqui, ó. Ah, mas deixa eu compartilhar a tela. Pode ir falando. Pode ir falando.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here speaking for this education institute that is so important and is so special for me to talk about this topic today. Today, we're going to talk about the feminine subtlety as lifelong learning. I am Professor Dr. Beatriz Lúcia Salvador Bisotto from Brazil, and it's a pleasure to be here. Now I'm going to present today's path. At first, we're going to start with the history of intelligent woman, then the 4 pillars of lifelong learning, the 4 pillars of a mother's lifelong learning, the 4 pillars of lifelong learning work. You need to learn on your own. Then we're going to talk about a fast transformation, the greatest good of a country, concepts of learning, 1 plus 1 is equal, and the last part is a thank you, right? A 97-year-old woman graduates in law in MG. I was one of the first to arrive at school, says the student and Bachelor of Law James Alice Rowling. The world, and consequently the labor market, is undergoing a major change. People spend about 10 years in formal education, considering school and university. And during that period, the main task is to learn and absorb all these environments have to offer. In general, it is true that formal education and the qualifications resulting from this practice are important and still valued in today's world. The technicist teaching model of 20th century that still prevails today definitely does not prepare anyone for work and life in the 21st century. With this in mind, the belief that the school is not the only provider of learning, as well as the idea that schooling is just one type of learning among several opportunities to deepen knowledge and develop skills throughout life, begins to be disseminated in society. In this context, the concept of lifelong learning emerges. Lifelong learning crosses sectors, promoting learning beyond the traditional school and throughout adult life. To put the concept into practice, the first step is to let go of the formal education and recognize that learning is not limited to a person's childhood, adolescence, or early adulthood. It can occur over a lifetime and in a variety of ways. Situations. The lifelong learner runs away from the formal model of education. He does not need teaching imposed via tasks, as he is self motivated to seek the experiences that interest him. The 4 pillars of lifelong learning. They are learning to know, to do, to live with, and to be. The first, it is necessary to learn to know, combining a general culture sufficiently broad with the possibility of studying in depth a small number of subjects. That is, learning to benefit from the opportunities offered by education to the throughout life. Learning to know, we are talking about the day-to-day life of the son and and God children and all the routines. To do is the best dish, the best popcorn in the world, for example. To live together and to be. Differences in thoughts and scenes of jealousy, a mother and a godmother, sweet and secure in decisions. Learning to know is the first topic we're going to talk about. Learn to interpret crying, whether it is from hunger or pain, breathing, smiling, follow the evolution in its smallest details. Make it very clear that Son and God's Son is different, and each one has a place in the same heart. To do, making the best silver for each of his godchildren and son, ensuring a small lab space for everyone at the same time. To live together and to be, living with age and behavior differences, knowing how to respect their opinion and values small progress, being sweet and decisive at the necessary times. Learning to know, to do, and to live together and to be. Learning to know. Learning to know, combining a general culture broad enough. Know your colleagues, your limits, your superiors. Interpret a smile, a gesture. Perceive the different changes in the other. To do. It is necessary to learn to do, not only in the professional field, but in a more comprehensive way, in order to make the person able to face a diverse situations and work as a team, to live together and to be. The person needs to understand the interdependencies existing within a project so that in the future he is able to understand the other and manage conflicts, taking into account the values of pluralism. Finally, the individual needs to learn to be, to develop the best possible personality and be able to act with an increasing capacity for autonomy, discernment, and personal responsibility. The way out of not being replaced by a machine, for example, certainly will not be found in an education that is based on traditional methods. And nowadays, lifelong learning presents itself as the best option for those who want to keep their knowledge and upgraded skills for the new economy. The person will be more prepared for the new world. The more a person learns throughout life, the more he will be able to adapt to the changes of new economy, which requires flexibility and improvisation in unexpected situations. In this context, lifelong learning brings many benefits because, in addition to keeping the professional qualified throughout his career, he will open his mind to new possibilities and his connections and networks will be strengthened as well as natural skills and other skills. For companies, lifelong learning represents a consistent change in the profile of their employees who will become more versatile and adaptable when it comes to performing diverse functions. Number one, the person will be a better leader. Number two, the person will be more satisfied with himself. Lifelong learning and entrepreneurial attitude. Number four is common barriers of lifelong learner. And the question is how to put it all into practice. Uh, now, we're going to talk about the person will be a better leader. How to do that? Being able to connect with the others not only makes a person more interesting, but it also makes them more influential. The greater you are differentiated knowledge you have, base, the more the leader will be able to know who is around you, and the greater the stock of solutions available to solve the problems and overcome challenges, internal or external. The person will be more satisfied with himself. When learning new skills, he or she will enjoy the positive feeling that comes with mastery and consequently will find herself or himself with a renewed sense of purpose in life when setting goals for her own education. Lifelong learning and entrepreneurial attitudes, as if it is lagging behind if the investment in itself it is not continuous, and with the arrival of the younger generation in the job market, new skills shine in the eyes of the employees. Millennials are willing to spend their own money on additional training during their personal career. In the number four, we have the common barriers of lifelong learner. With the hustle and bustle of everyday life, many people end up using the excuse of not having enough time to not dedicate themselves to studies. However, what many do not know is that with lifelong learning, the person is able to take advantage of the few remaining minutes of their day and fit education as they wish. In the number five, we have the question how to put it all into practice. Open online courses, for example, traditional education platforms are some of the options you have. In a rapidly evolving society, people need to pursue different careers throughout their lives. Just some reflections now. The greatest asset of any country is people. We need to take more care of health. A woman's beauty concept is very broad, but what is beautiful about a woman is the ability to share knowledge and smile even though you are sad. Find value in what you are doing. Talk to people. Can be learned mainly when you have friends outside the same bubble. Lifelong learning, the concept of lifelong learning here, impossible to dissociate the concept with the life of a woman, entrepreneur, mother, wife, researcher. Lifelong learning help us to develop different talents that we already have, as well as helping us to acquire new ones. The impact of this development also affects his profession. For example, if we think of a team leader, knowing how to solve problems is essential at work and in personal life. As a woman, we always need to think strategically, not like math. 1 plus 1 is equal 11. It's management practice. I would like to thanks very much for the invitation. It was a big pleasure and a big honor to speak for this institution. Thank you very much.